let's bring up a fan of a team that is no longer a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Mr. Command Cave himself, Marty joins. Marty, welcome. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you guys as well. Excited for this weekend. Just ate a bunch of candy, so I'm all jacked up.
I think we all are. I think we're all all sugared up.
Let's do it.
Awesome. What jersey is that? Is that Kerrigan or
Art Monk, all-time franchise leading receptions, yards, touchdown. Great blast from the past. Figured I'd throw on the shades to look extra cool tonight for the show.
Absolutely. Love that, Marty. 6-2. Usually when we have you on the show, outside of the first year when the Commanders won the division with, I think it was 9-8.
It was, I think 7-9.
Yes, 7-9.
Losing record. So that was a fun season for all.
What's the vibe down there right now? I know you don't live in DC, but as a Commanders fan, just overall, the fan base, what's going on? Because the last time we spoke to you, it was around the draft time, and we weren't sure if it was going to be Drake May or Jaden Daniels, and they went with Jaden Daniels, and surely it's paid off.
It's been unbelievable. It's manic. Folks are going crazy. Now Northwest Stadium has been bumping every week. Like you said, I went to the draft in April not knowing who we'd taking Jaden Daniels, and it was unbelievable what he's done so far. He's turned the franchise around on a dime, and with some core players returning, he's just been unbelievable, and it's been so fun to watch.
How were you feeling after last week with that ending to that game that I think was one of the most insane things I've ever seen?
Lost my voice, almost almost throw the phone. It was insane. I thought we dominated the Bears through and through. I mean, Caleb Williams had 36 passing yards going into the third quarter. He had two really nice drives in the fourth quarter against us, but defense played well. Offense, we moved the ball. We almost just over 400 yards of offense. Just our biggest concern right now is red zone offense, one of the worst in the league. So that's something we've got to work on. You guys saw it in week 2 when we played the Giants, beat you with just field goals. So it's been something from week 2 now going into week 9, still kind of plaguing us a little bit, which I think is keeping us out of that top tier talk in the NFC right now.
I'm starting to wonder if Washington wins again without a touchdown on Sunday. We'll get into that, though.
We'll get into that. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
First question. In your opinion, what was the most important offseason acquisition, coach or player? Maybe not the best, but the most important.
Yeah. Honestly, I look on the field, I look on the sideline. We've done a lot, but I actually have to go up top into the booths. Our general manager, Adam Peters, was the biggest acquisition we had. We finally have someone in football operations that's had previous experience in doing this and has done it at a very high level. Started with the Patriots and those Bill Belichick years of back-to-back Super Bowls early with Tom Brady. Then he moved on to help John Elway in Denver and won a Super Bowl there. And his last stop with Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and 49ers. So the guy has been a part of some very winning organizations, comes here, first time he gets to run the show, and we see what he did in the offseason. Brought in a lot of talent. A lot of folks didn't like what they brought in at first, but they've played in really well. So I would definitely have to start there first and give him his props. From a player standpoint, it's hard not to say Jaden Daniels, but to give you something a little bit different, I think Zach Ertz has been huge for us. A really good, reliable offensive weapon for Jaden Daniels, and he has a lot to prove, right? Coming off of some injuries, bounced around a little bit. Cardinals, I believe he was with the Lions a little bit too as well last year. So getting a fresh start, loves Cliff Kingsbury. He did some good things with Cliff when he was in in Arizona with him. So he's been a really good addition to the team and for Jaden's development.
Well, talking about Jaden's development a little bit and giving you the floor to kind of flaunt your quarterback a little bit, what's kind of been the most impressive thing that he's done so far this season, apart from how he ended that game last week?
Yeah, let's go back to that phrase. Flaunt a Washington quarterback has never came out of my mouth ever, or if I've ever even heard that before. So it's awesome to be on this side of the table. But what he has done, his ability to just learn, and I know that sounds simple and doesn't sound flashy, but if we look in the beginning of the season, week 2 against the Giants, week 1, and halfway through that week 3 game, one of Jaden's biggest things is he was not seeing the folks down the field. A little bit more tuck and run, a little bit more safe. And it seemed like halftime of the Bengals game, it switched. He hit Terry twice down the field, and we haven't looked back. And he never makes the same mistake twice, it seems to. Learns a lot and learns fast. And the progressions in which he's making week to week, making those leaps, you usually see quarterbacks take seasons to do that. And, I mean, we look at Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson. We look at across the league with young quarterbacks taking years to develop some of these things that he has taken weeks to do. It's been unbelievable.
Well said. Definitely well said.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your offense, Terry McLaurin's been there since 2019, focal point. We can talk all we want about him. It is Halloween, scary Terry. And I think you might have answered this in the first question, Marty, but who else do you think needs to step up as that number 2 option? Obviously, you guys signed a couple free agents this offseason, and you drafted Luke McCaffrey, but who needs to be that number 2 player, not just this week against the Giants, but going forward down the stretch this season?
Yeah, I think going down the stretch with Scary Terry on the outside, there's been a couple of players who have really done well for us that we've picked up. But one that I'm really looking at is Austin Eckler, running back, longtime Charger coming in, started off really well for us. He had some very big plays early in the season, got hit in Cincinnati, concussion, missed a week, and is kind of still working his way back, still trying to find that rhythm that he had early on. But that could be someone heading down the stretch, and I think that they're holding them back, but holding him back for the stretch of the season.
For sure. So we're talking about the defense now. The Commanders have the 31st ranked rushing defense this year, which is only one ahead of the Giants. Why is this defense struggling so much with this?
Yeah, defense is struggling up the middle right now. We did lose Jonathan Allen, which was a big loss, but I think we're still gelling. We've played some pretty good rushing attacks, Baltimore Ravens in there to really throw things off with Derrick Henry. But I still think we're gelling in the middle. We're still trying to develop some young players in there too. And I think our defensive coordinator, Joe Witt's done a great job. And so far, I know the stats don't show it, but they're playing better each week, and that's what I like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Commanders, Giants, both the bottom 2 in rush defense right now. Part of that is, losing Jonathan Allen, former first-round pick, also the opponents, as you mentioned as well, Marty. But nevertheless, you're 6-2, new head coach, new GM, sort of similar to the 2022 Giants. Obviously, the quarterback situation is different, but I remember 2 years ago, Sam, we were 6-2. At this time of the season. Now, Marty, I ask you, how do you foresee Washington finishing out this season? Do they make the playoffs? Do they win the division? Obviously, Philly is knocking on the door. So I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I would love to beat the chest and say, hey, we're going to win 12, 13, win the NFC East. Still some concerns, though, right? Defensively, rushing-wise, up the middle, outside corners have been a really big struggle this year. Offensively, as great as it seems, we're third in scoring, still 32nd in red zone offense for the year. So it shows that we're very explosive, but we still need to work out some kinks. Nervous with Philly. I feel like they're about to hit their stride here, and we get them twice still. So here in a few weeks in Philly, Thursday night game, which should be fun. But I think this team is definitely a playoff team for sure. They're definitely a playoff team, over 80% chance of making the playoffs without a huge collapse. I can see why we couldn't make the playoffs. And, as Giants fans as well as any, if you get into the dance, you never know what's going to happen. And with a quarterback being this explosive, if the defense can learn something, I could see a run in the playoffs where we can win a game or two in tough environments. But it's still a younger team at some core places, and we'll see how it folds out.
I feel like the Commanders this year are giving the same vibes as the Texans last year. Like they look really good, really strong, rookie quarterback heading into the playoffs. They make a statement, but then, it kind of will fizzle out as the playoffs go on.
Yep, we'll run across a team that has that experience. I mean, in the NFC right now, Detroit's one that no one's probably going to want to see. Eagles catch their stride. Still can't count out the 49ers with their experience and if they can get healthy. So there's still some other teams in there that you definitely don't want to see come January, February. But on the other side of the coin, I don't think people are going to want to see this offense either during those time frames. So it's going to definitely be fun. I'm so glad that I'm talking about playoff football and not the draft like we were last year. Just excited.
Right. And before we get into our keys of the game, last time we met, Washington wins 21-18. I thought Daniel Jones had a solid game that week, had the 2 touchdowns. Malik Nabers had 127 yards on 18 targets and a touchdown. However, the Commanders held the ball for 37 minutes thanks to 133 rushing yards from Brian Robinson Jr. And he has been a bell cow this season. I mean, he's been such a good player since coming into the league. Obviously, almost didn't make it into the league, but he's such a good between the I love watching him run the football. Obviously, not against my Giants though. He should eat.
Yeah, he's been so great for us and has really helped Jaden's development. He did not play against the Ravens, and it showed. We didn't have that person who could just get 4 to 6 yards for us when we needed it. So glad to have him back fully healthy and looking forward to the stretch with him too as well.
100%. Sam, keys to the game. How do our Giants pull off the upset? Now, traditionally, the Giants are very good against Washington, but this season, it's not.
Yeah, I feel like the keys to this game is definitely going to be to stop Jaden Daniels because we've obviously seen what that kid is capable of, and we cannot afford, seeing a Hail Mary like that at the end of the game to put the nail in the coffin. So I'm definitely going to say that Jaden Daniels needs to be contained, and I think that that's something that the Giants defense is definitely capable of doing. But they have this stacked team. I mean, I feel like going into the season, I was looking at the roster and I was like, wow, this is actually really strong. Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson Jr., Scary Terry, like that's a really solid offense. And with Jaden Daniels and the talent that he has, it's shows. So if Jaden Daniels is that, that center of gravity, that nucleus that's pushing out that offense, to contain him, I think it's going to be a huge part.
What about you, Marty? What's key for Washington on the other edge of the spectrum here?
Yeah. Offensively is put the ball in the end zone, right? Week 2, definitely probably didn't deserve that win, right? Graham Cano goes out the first play of the game, totally changes that game for you guys and mindset once you pass the 50. Squeaked one out, love division wins. We'll get them however we can take them. But if we go with that mentality or we have that same pushback where we just can't put the ball in the end zone, this is going to be another one of those tough ones. So offensively, score 7 and not 3. Defensively, I really like that kid that you guys got at running back, Tracy. I know you just gave him the game ball of the week. He looks the part, plays the part, and excited for you guys on that end. But again, just like you guys don't like to watch Brian Robinson, when I watched him play Sunday night, I knew that would be an issue. I know he does have some health concerns, but it seems like he's getting the good stuff, green light. So I'm expecting to see him on Sunday. So defensively, we have to key in on him as much as we can.
For me, I've got 2, and I'm more concerned about the defense than the offense. Stopping the run is critical in this game. Look, the Giants hired Shane Bowen as their defensive coordinator to be a run-stuffing specialist. They are dead last in stopping the run, giving up 5.4 yards per carry to backs. Now, the Giants didn't exactly supply him with the best players to stop the run outside of Dexter Lawrence. That man is a freak, but other than him, their best interior D lineman is Raheem Nunez-Roches, DJ Davidson, guys like that. It got so bad, Sam, they healthy scratched Jordan Riley for Armon Watts. So it's been really, really bad out there. The depth is lacking. No Kayvon Thibodeau again this week. I'm sure Marty's happy to hear that.
Yes.
And then you mentioned Austin Eckler before. He's a home run hitter, excellent pass catching back. He's a problem too. He had 52 rushing yards last week. So the Giants, it's not just Brian Robinson Jr., it's Austin Eckler. Change of pace as well. And you could throw Daniels in there and be like, yeah, this boy could take off. And the biggest thing that's impressed me with Daniels, Marty, he doesn't throw many interceptions. He takes good care of the football. He's able to get the ball out to his receivers, which leads me to my extra key here. I know I'm cheating a little bit, but Terry McLaurin, you must contain this man. Now, week 2, they did. McLaurin had 6 catches for just 22 yards, but he has 98-plus receiving yards in 3 of his last 4 games. And the Giants' pass defense has the 30th lowest rating allowed to opposing quarterbacks this season. And McLaurin's had success against the Giants in his early young career thus far. I know we talked a lot about players, but let's give 2 players to watch on each side, 2 for Washington and then 2 for the Giants. Marty, we'll start with you here. Who do you got for your Commanders and then our Giants?
Yeah, so 2 players to watch for us. One, sort of a sleepy, sneaky kind of guy that I think could help us is Luke McCaffrey this week. We have some issues at left tackle due to injury. We'll see what happens there. I know Thibodeau's out, and he always looks great against us. I believe like more than half of his career sacks are against us, so glad to see him out. But nevertheless, you guys still have a good front. Need to keep Jaden upright, and I think throwing it quick will help McCaffrey get into a rhythm too. I'd like to see him get going. On defense for us, as always, it's Benjamin St. Jude's corner. Malik Nabers just dominated him last time we were playing. There wasn't much he could do. So try to throw different bodies at him, try to throw different people. We'll see what happens there. From the Giants standpoint, 2 people that we have to watch out for. I've already touched on it a little bit, the running back, Tyrone Tracy. If we can try to contain that, make the Giants one-dimensional, I think that'll be best for us moving forward. And then defensively, that sexy Dexy in the middle. Our interior offensive lineman's been the strength, but like you mentioned, that he's a freak. So someone that we're going to have to definitely keep our eye on there too as well.
I feel like Marty took my Giants that I was going to pick. So I'll try and switch it up a little bit, and I'll go with like our traditional Daniel Jones here. Daniel Jones has obviously not performed the best in recent weeks, but we know that he has the capability of doing it, and we know what his record is like against the Commanders. He does play well against this team, and I think that because of the fact that this is our second time playing them, hopefully it's like a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but a little bit more competitive in that way. So I'll say Daniel Jones, and I'll say Malik Nabers as well, just because I just want to see him get the ball a little bit more, because he's been doing well, and he's always open, and that's great. I definitely would love to see him in a few more plays on each drive, though. And for the Commanders, he's on the quieter side, but I'm going to say Zach Ertz. I know he's a vet, and he's the quote unquote old guy, but we always struggle with tight ends, and tight ends seem to pop off in games. So I'm going to say Zach Ertz for that reason. And I'll go both QBs here. I'll say Jaden Daniels as well, just because kid's a monster. And I just really enjoy watching him play too, which is unfortunate because you guys are in our division. But like every single week, I feel like I'm like, Jaden Daniels looks amazing. Like every week, I feel like I'm saying that. So I'll say those guys.
Awesome stuff. Marty, question, is Frankie Louvu on pace to play, or is he in doubt? I know he has 2 DNPs in a row over the last 2 days.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's just more of a rest thing. We're getting into the meat of the season. Our bye week's still not for another 5 weeks, so I hope it's just a common thing where we're going to see more names pop up there. So what I'm reading is he should be able to go. If he wasn't, that'd be a huge loss because he's been. Although Bobby Wagner gets the praise, Luvu should get the silent praise of being the heart and soul of that defense.
Right. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Wagner here. 69 tackles, 6 TFLs with 2 sacks. This Commanders defense, points-wise, is the 10th best defense in the NFL. They're giving up just under 21 points per game. Again, not easy to do in a passing league. I do know, Sam, you have to dip. You have a Halloween party to get off to. So I will let you go, and I'll finish that with Marty. But any parting words, Sam?
I will say
And predictions.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll do my game prediction. I'm going to say that the Giants are going to win. I think that we're going to split this series. I don't think that the Commanders sweep us this year. And I'll say I saw the line was super close, 1.5. So I'll say Giants win by a field goal, and it'll be 24-21.
All right. Thank you very much, Sam. I hope that happens because I'll be there.
Yes. And thank you, Marty, for coming on.
Yes,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank you. Good
All right.
luck.
See you later, guys.
Thank you, Sam. All right, that was Sam Cardona Norberg. Now, Marty, Dante Fowler Jr. is another guy on your defense that scares the crap out of me. 4.5 sacks this season so far, with Andrew Thomas being out for the season. That leaves Chris Hubbard, a guy we signed off of San Francisco's practice squad just 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to go defense there with my 2. Obviously, Jaden Daniels was mentioned. Zach Ertz, another guy, 7 catches last week. For the Giants, Brian Burns, for me, quietly 5 sacks, 7 TFLs, leads the team too with 6 passes defended this season, or tied for the team lead. So Burns can also drop back into coverage as a linebacker and make some plays in addition to rushing the quarterback. And then for me, offensively, I'm looking at Theo Johnson, the rookie tight end, over the middle of the field. He was not that involved the first week of the season, but a 4th-round pick out of Penn State. He has been coming on a lot as of late, and you want to add an extra weapon to Nabers, Wandale, and Darius Slayton. It's Theo Johnson over the middle of the field, a much younger version of your Zach Ertz, Marty. So those are my 2 players to watch for each team. And with that being said, let's get into the game predictions. We know Sam has picked the Giants, folks. Marty, who are you taking in this one, and what is your final score?
This is a tough one. Week 2's matchup was a classic Commanders-Giants game where a little bit ugly, a little bit back and forth, one-score game. It seems like it's been like that for us for the last couple years. Daniel Jones has always looked great against us. I don't expect anything different. I think he'll look to find rhythm with Nabers. It's going to be difficult. But I still think our defense has been playing at a better level than we were week 2. Offensively, we still have some scoring woes, as crazy as that sounds, in the red zone. I don't know if we're going to continue that or not, but I think we will. I think the Giants are going to come ready to play. I'm going to take the Commanders, have to, but it's going to be ugly and close. I'm going to go Commanders 16, Giants 14.
Low scoring, like it.
Low scoring. Again, I think we're going to have some woes. I'm thinking we're going to get 3 field goals and a late touchdown, and the Giants could potentially get up quick, score a touchdown or 2 in the first half, and then maybe fizzle is what I'm thinking on this one. And again, just the ugly NFC East game that the national media and most folks will hate, but you and I, Tom, will be glued to the TV for every second.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, the Giants, in a bad season like this, they typically split with the Commanders, but if they were, it would have been in week 2, in my opinion. That was their game to win. They blew it. I will be in attendance. I would not be shocked if the Giants win. They typically play well against Washington, but Marty, unfortunately, I'm going to side with you here as far as picking this game. Not happy about it, but I think Washington wins by a final score of 23-20. Ultimately, I think the Giants look good early. They get out to a lead, but Washington is 6-2 for a reason. The Giants are 2-6 for a reason. So I don't see us being able to stop the run. And last year, when the Commanders went to MetLife, Sam Howell, they almost came back and won that football game. It came down to a couple plays, and the Giants were able to get a stop. This time around, there's a different man under center, and I'm a little bit more concerned about that. Plus, in week 2 as well, Marty, it seemed like Daniels was still getting his feet wet a little bit to live in-action game playing. I think this time around, week 9, he'll be much more in rhythm, and the game has definitely slowed down for him.
Yes, agreed. And he's made leaps and bounds from week 2 to now. Still, again, concerning on the offensive side is not punching it in. And although Giants have had their defensive woes, this is an NFC East battle, and we're on the road. So all records out. Nabers is going to be fired up for this one. Daniels is going to be fired up for this one. There's going to be a lot of people internally fired up from the Giants standpoint too as well, to try to get a win and save their season and turn it back around.
Absolutely. And I think that very well might happen. Hopefully it does for us, but it'll be left to be seen. Marty, thank you for rolling with the punches tonight. I know it was Halloween, so we had to adjust the time a little bit here. Much respect and appreciate your flexibility with us. Love having you on the show.
Yeah,
Awesome.
No worries. Yeah, can never turn down an NFC East preview like this. Love joining. Hope everybody has a happy and safe Halloween, and looking forward to Sunday.
On behalf of Mr. Command Cave, Marty Joins, Sam Cardona Norberg, my name is Tom Scavetta, folks. Make sure to check out our social media content on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Big Blue Avenue. And I'm only wearing this jersey because it's Halloween, folks. Don't worry. I'm a diehard Giants fan. I just wanted to show the people that I can dress up a little bit. Marty rocking the shades too tonight as well. Appreciate you all. Yes. And without further ado, Marty, I say this at the end of every show. So let's go Big Blue.